Finally, we can get into our round results video, but firstly, the final game of the round, Tigers v the Eels. We'll go through that one and then get into my team, the rankings for overall. We're also going to look at our leagues as well as the People Squad. So, in this one, Moses came back with a cracker game. That up and down type of score, very much like Robbo and a little bit of Harry Grant the last 2 weeks as well. So, this shows that it can happen very regularly, and it shows that Moses is such an important player here. 42 in the first half and picked up another 31 in the second. So, very good game for him. Ran the footy, also had plenty of kick meters, 4 try assists there, and kick goals. So, we spoke about Eels as a team that has a bunch of easier teams coming up compared to what they played at the start of the year. They did almost butcher this one, and if it wasn't for that poor Charlie Staines drop when he thought he was close to sideline when he wasn't, it might have been a little bit different. But anyway, interesting on the Eels in that one. And, Stainsy had a pretty solid game overall. He helped them get that last try and then had that blunder. So that is that. So, Moses, still a great option coming into the next bunch of games. Junior Tupou had a cracker there at 65. He had a mixture of some amazing efforts and then had 3 errors in this one as well. So, not ideal. Bit of an awkward price, guys. It's gone up 77k across the year, 400k. Don't look at him. Don't bother in this Tigers outfit, considering they have a bye as well heading into round 7. Adam Doueihi, unfortunate for him, very, very sad news about his ACL. It's just sad. 3 times on the one leg. That's really tough. And he was looking to be a potential option over the next few weeks. If you held on to him, you got that 61, thankfully. He played really, really well. And just a shout out to all the people that were asking me about Tanner Boyd and his try saver. He did get a try saver there. He's up to 40. Miller went up to 57 as well. Jackson Ford up to 52. And then all the Thursday night game, the Storm game there and the Broncos game have both updated. So thankfully, it's all set. And finally, I can make this video. It's 11:20 on Tuesday morning there. So as I say, a bit of a condensed week. If you're seeing this stuff after the video I had before, I need to get that out so you guys had something to watch. Considering there's going to be 3 videos today coming out in this condensed week. So yeah, again, sorry for the multitude of videos, but hopefully you can watch them. And that first one there, plenty of buy planning on all those guns for round 13, 14, and sort of having one eye on those type of decisions that you're going to make and what guns to bring in on those, round 13 and 14 buys is really important, considering we probably most of us are going to trade 3 times this week. So that's that. All right. So Madison was a great trade in as well. Ended up with 73 minutes in that middle role, which was great. And, limited-ish on the attacking side. Had a few negatives as well at neg 9, but 4 tackle breaks there, 42 tackles, 191 meters. My worry with him is that I think he's someone that can probably play Origin, and the way he's playing at the moment, I think he should get that spot. Since he's come back in round 4, he's been great and should continue to score this way going forward. So averaging 62. Looks like it didn't matter whether he played. Didn't matter, son. If he was playing in the middle or if he was playing on the edge there. One thing I will note is obviously Junior Paulo is back next week, so potentially a few less minutes for Maddo, and Widamil Greg there only played the 19. Hopgood played some decent minutes as he dropped down. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. It was hard to get a bit of a clear picture this week as to how it's going to play out with Junior not playing. So let's see what happens next week and go from there on guys like Maddo, if you do want to pick them up. Does play in 13, doesn't play in 14. Johnny Bateman, saw 96 for him. Why am I talking like I'm in English? That was bad. I hope you had a laugh anyway. 713k for him. So he's down 96 now, and this gets into more of a territory of buying him. So after their buy in round 7, I'm looking at him and Isaiah Papali'i, both scoring very similar in this one. Paps there averaging 60.6 and doing a great job. Obviously a little bit down on his starting price, which is good for us. Means we can pick him up at a solid clip there. Bateman owned by 0.5%. I think Isaiah Papali'i is a very similar mark there. Well, he's a 5.2. Not in many teams I have seen anyway. So he's definitely someone that you look to in round 8, potentially Bateman as well. So either one of those, obviously Bateman cheaper, but I think Pap will score more consistently better. And hopefully Bateman's ribs get a good rest this week and he comes back and is a bit of a gun for this side. But I am worried about the Tigers long term. And, someone, if he leaves for the next little bit, and that's Abby Coruscant, if he leaves for Origin, which makes it even harder for them without Doueihi as well. So Coruscant there, 55, and he becomes a half an option as well. If he can continue to play 80 minutes, which they had him do in this one, considering it was close. Simpkin came on, I think, right at the end, if I'm not mistaken there. We'll check at the bottom. But Coro, definitely half an option, considering he's down 132k. Didn't lose any money this week, so a clean break there. and we'll have to score 45 plus to start making money again. So that's Coruscant, but definitely a solid one. Cardi Party, it lives on. 30k gains. We're up to 557 now, 307 overall. I picked him up after the first week, giving me about 250 in price rises and averaging 50, guys. So if he keeps hold of that edge spot next week, there's no reason why you should move him on. And at 53 points in this one, he's still got some cash to make. If he continues to average close to 50, then he still has 150k to make. So another low break even it'll be next week, somewhere in the 20s again. If he keeps hitting 50s, he'll keep going up 30k every week for the next bunch. So can't ride with 40 tackles in this one, just a 1 tackle break and 74 meters. Just did his thing, and that's exactly when he plays well in fantasy. Is just when he gets in there, he doesn't run out of the line. He just makes his tackles, gets the job done. It does seem like he's very fit for the most part. Like unless he cops a bit of a knock, which sometimes happens, he's just easily, he doesn't look like he's puffing or anything. So I think that's why they're giving him the full 80, just his fitness overall. So at least a testament to him there, that he's fixed up his discipline in his errors. And sometimes we'd hope that he throws out the offload, but just for fantasy. But in terms of footy, he's been a much safer player for him, which is good. Panasini there, 49. So again, one of those clear options. I said he's at the 600k mark, which a lot of those other centers are at. If you watch that previous video, I really suggest checking that out to have a crack at all the centers that we've got there available around that price. But he's definitely one of those guys that could be a great selection over the next few weeks. Tackles well, runs for about his 150 every week, and has these attacking stats in there as well. Brownie, he has lost a fair bit of cash now, down almost 100k. Hit a 47 last week, but really for him, the main worry is that he's not averaging 50, and it can get a little bit easier for him, but you thought that would be the case in this one, and it really wasn't to be. Just had that one try assist, off the great kick from Moses, and that is all there. All right, Stafford Toa, he's down a fair bit in cash, but up 22 this week was helpful for him, and a bit of an awkward price in a bad team. I'm gonna stay clear of Toa, even though he has the dual position and is half cheap. Gutho, a decent one for him. Potentially just an option over the bye period if you need someone there. But, because he won't play Origin. But, not really a great option there. Stainsy, a better one for him at 43 with that nice try assist at the end. Ran for good meters. Just had that really one bad play there with the drop. Other than that, a much better one for him. Hopgood is an interesting one we need to speak about. He's down 13k now, so down to 717. And, really, I think this is going to continue. He had no tackle breaks in this one. He had an offload, just the one there. But 4 missed tackles early on in the game wasn't ideal for him and people that own him. Meters gain was solid. Just really a nothing game. And look, if he gets 45 to 50 minutes regularly, he can still hit the heights of the 50 plus. But that does involve him getting try assists and the like there. And he just doesn't look like what he did in that first few games, if I'm being honest. Like, the amount of work that he was putting in, the amount of effort and effort plays, I would say, around the ruck, that he was getting opportunities around there, being able to put guys through gaps, being there for line breaks and stuff. It's just not happening anymore, and I can understand why you would look to move him on. I'm potentially going to use him to go to Hines or go to Harry Grant or a gun in a certain position. That could be the way I play it, but we'll work that out over the next few days, that's for sure. Stefano with a 38, so up another 8k, and his money-making potential is coming to a halt, but a great year for him at 143k. Well done if you do own him, but I suggest it's time to move on because he's not really going to get you much more than a 40 each and every week. Asul Kapoa down 9k, but a 36 for him in the centres now, so changing week to week. Offengawe, another big drop, so again, watch out for him over the next few weeks at 615 now. If there is any injuries to those middle forwards, then Offa will be the play. But, obviously with a bye next week, nothing to think about too much. Sean Lane at 33, down 33k. So he was priced very high in the mid to high 50s there. Mid to high 700s, I should say. And, he's someone that definitely you need to keep on your radar if he can get a spot. He looked okay without being great in his first game back, which is completely fair. Twali there, 31. Sean Russell, people will look at this week. He made 5k on his starting price. 324 he is now. And likely if he gets named in the centres again, that he would get the centre duel, I would believe, if he gets named there again. But they do have Wanga Blake to return. Apparently he had a bit of a poor game in New South Wales Cup, thanks to a bit of the intel from my private group guys. So Russell, move back to the wing. Is that exciting? Look, he could have some decent games, but on that right wing, potentially it would be for Dunster, who finally got his first game in a long time. That's that. And Russell could be potentially be an option, but yeah, a bit of a worry, to be honest with you, at this point, as to, how he could go, especially when you see, potentially a few of the options that people brought in, like Hands haven't been able to do very well with a 16 in his 28 minutes, and he's made 5K this week. So a little bit the week before, 5K this week, he is not going to get the great opportunities that we saw him get in the first game, and that's very unfortunate. I would personally suggest someone like Sonny Luke over Hands, just has a bit more upside, I would think, and being able to play more minutes like we saw. Blory, 25 is the last one on the list. Yeah, Simkin there, 9 minutes for neg 1, and then Dunster for neg 2 in his full 80. So a very sad one for him in his return. 3 errors and 4 missed tackles. Not great. But Blory, 25 in 54 minutes. So he's an interesting one. I think you definitely hold on to him, guys. Made 39K. That 25 brings his break even up a little bit higher, but still, if he can get minutes like that, there will be games where he gets 35, 40, 45, and the like, getting offloads, tackle breaks there. So had 2 errors in this one, no missed tackles, but no attacking stats at all. So that is Blory, and that is that game. So let's move into my team, and updates were kind. I knew they were going to be with Walshy going down, Carrigan going down, and my additions in Suoli'i and the like in that first game. So, drum roll please. We are in the top 1,000. We're back, baby. What a journey it's been. I told everyone here on the channel that it was going to be the year of the comeback, that's for sure, considering I was at 35K after round 2. Went 24K, 4.2, 1,300, and now in the top 1,000. Only using one trade last week and leaving 356K on the bank. Could have been a lot better if I bought in Walshy, but it didn't happen. And that's okay. Still ended up with a really nice score of 939 in this one. So let's look at that setup that we had here. Everyone on our bench did a great job. We looped Katoa, but we decided to leave him out and go with Cartwright, hoping that he'll be able to beat that score. And thinking that we'd most likely get 80 minutes out of him. If he lost 20 or 30, he'd still be able to score probably better than the 29, most likely. He's had that one low game, but that's not to happen every week. As I said, I got a little bit upset with the Chester one, that he got very low minutes, which was always a chance, but hoping for a bit more. Just got the 4 there, and he goes up, I think, 9K, so nothing special there. Murdoch Masilla, I believe, held his price there, 277. We've got Talau down there, and Isaiah Katoa went up 24K. So good news on that front with Isaiah, that we brought him in, and he's able to make a bit, and hopefully he can average 30 over the next period, and we can get sort of 100 or so thousand extra from him. I said Cardi went up, Hoskins up big time. We've got Hopgood potentially on the chopping block. And you look at Trent Lioro, and he's an interesting one as well. He went up about 18K, I believe, for Trent there. And did a good job over this bunch of weeks for him, and he's averaging close to that 40 mark, and decent efforts, but really overall not crazy special that we can keep him long term. His last 3 averages 47, which is good, but averaging 42.7, up 18K last week, and he could be one of those guys getting closer to his peak. His break even's going to be a little bit higher, and if he keeps getting 40s, he'll low 40s there, he'll make a tiny bit more, but he could be one of those guys that we do look to move on over the next few. So Trent, not highly owned either. So if we do trade him out, it's not like we're missing out on anything crazy if he goes absolutely bonkers, but I doubt that he's going to be one of those guys that does that. When you've got Eli Katoa, who's a 634 now, only a little bit, 111K more than Trent, has much more upside, and I think he could be one of those guys that, if you did trade him out, he could come out and get an 80, whereas Trent's not going to be that guy. So he's potentially going to be a trading target out for me this week. Murray went up, Haas went up, Ford went up big, Katoa went up, as we said, Cleary up big as well. Johnson up to 811 now. Crazy. Amazing. Lemuelu only up 4, I believe. Alamotti up a tad. Or is he down a little bit? Should be down a little bit. But Miller killing it at the moment. Warbrick at 375. Suoli'i at just over 500. So my potential trade out targets this week, Warbrick is one of those in the chopping block. Suoli'i, I think, is probably a hold. There's so many trade possibilities this week. It's crazy. So Warbrick potentially. Chester definitely, depending what happens with the wing for the Cowboys. But I still think even Chester on the wing is not going to be great when the Cowboys aren't playing that well. Lemuelu is safe. Do we want to bring in a decent center? Do we want to bring in a decent fullback? I think fullback's definitely the one we need to improve. If that's the case, we might not be able to get rid of Warbrick. It might have to be a hold of Warbrick. Chester's out, Lioro's out, and maybe Hopgood, depending if I want Hines as well. So with the 356 in the bank, I could go Hoppy to Hines, and then it's kind of a little bit sideways. That's why I say Lioro probably to a gun wing fullback, and then Chester to one of the cheapies, whether it's a Sonny Luke or a Hame Sele, these types of players there is the general thoughts at the moment. But yeah, that's my squad there, the 938. Let's go into the overall rankings now and, you know, have a good look at that. So a few really good scores up top and just brings us a little bit further away, but nothing crazy there. So I think it's 276 there that we're behind, which is nothing crazy at all. 274, there you go, is how far we're behind. They're from number one and they're ahead by 9, which means it's very close up top. 270 odds, nothing crazy. And if we're looking at squad value now, I'm up to 12.378. When you look at all these top teams, and you know, I have a little bit more than number 4 in Oha, but but yeah, the rest of the guys are up there in that 12.6, 12.7. There's a 12.4. 12.5, 12.6, 12.7 is kind of the main there, and then down to 12.5s as we get a little bit lower, 12.4s and 5. So if you're sitting anywhere over that 12 mark, I think that's positive. I'm very happy with where mine's at the moment, considering it's not too far away from a lot of the top 50 teams. So if you set anywhere around that 12.1 to 12.2, you'll be pretty happy with, and with such a long season to go, we have 21 rounds remaining. It's very exciting that we're not too far away from these top guys, and they're going to have to make really, really good decisions over the next bunch of weeks and over that bye period to stay that high. And you look at this team here, clapping D's, we got Miha, as I said, at 1,015 was the score in that past round. So really good scores across the board. Obviously having Walsh and the Hammer was good. Playing Alamotti and Warbrick, not so good, but the bench was good there. Avoided scores from Nikorima. Did trade in Nikorima though, so that's not a great trade in so far. But Blory, Katoa, and Talau there on the bench. So interesting what they do this week and what a lot of players do and how many trades a lot of these top teams has made. We'd have to look at footystatistics.com to find out how many trades they've used. So you can just type in, go to Team Analyzer, and you can type in their names and have a look at where those teams are currently at in terms of trades used as well. Grant, they're at 983, so most of these guys ending up with good scores. Obviously Boydie, and with his extra 5 points for the try save was good for those that needed him. We're still playing Ryan Sutton, which is not good. Captain Cleary, and good interchange there. But again, so many decisions to make. Guys like Camprera, Warbrick, Alamotti, what do you do with those guys? He obviously avoided the 18 from Alamotti, which helped, but has Sloan in there. So, do you just hold Sloan? Do you make decisions with him? What do you do with a second gun half? Missing out on that. So, plenty of question marks for this team as well. What to do with Sutton? None of these teams are perfect either. So, that's the good news to see there in that one. Even this team here, Vice, Cleary, and Captain Haas, it didn't kill him too much, but definitely stopped him from scoring 100. That would have been close. 1,000, sorry. Just under there. But having Walshy in there was a good one. Having Johnson, Brayley. So there's a fair few issues in this squad as well. Brayley to get rid of, Trindle, Burton, a solid one on the interchange, but Metal not doing great there. And then, potentially some other things to do with Warbrick and the like. So nothing perfect overall in these three. Let's go through the next leagues there. So have a look at my head-to-head ones and where I'm ranked in that. And then the Battle of the Podcast is always fun as well. So I'm 147th in my community there, which is cool. Private group, we have 3 people in the top 100, which is great. So I'm ranked in the top 1,000 and I'm 15th. So that means there's 15 out of the 105 that are in the top 1,000, which is good so far. And 3 in the top 100. So I think one of our guys, Aobi, which I'll give a shout out to in here, is currently ranked, I believe, 27th. I believe, before the updates we had there. So we'll have a quick look there. 29th, there you go. So 29th for Aobi, 76th for Ryan, 97 for Matty, and then we've got a few guys in the 300s in Liam Jr. there, 330, crazy. So plenty of good totals there. Fantasy Phil and Sammy Boy, Will D, Tony, and James all smashing me in the top 10, and then we've got Vinny, Ryan, John, Josh, and myself. Josh ended up updating to be ahead of me. So how's that work? He's ranked 972. We're on the same, unfortunately on the same score, but and me bettering in this week, and he's ranked ahead of me. So there you go. So I'm tied with a bunch of people on that same score, which is cool. But yeah, plenty of guys in there. Scoop doing well at 1,600. So that's that one in that league, which is cool. And then you'll look at all the head-to-head guys as well. There's plenty of decent ones here. I got a couple of wins. So I'm 5th in the Gargarov, which is a tough one. Ham-to-head is a tough one as well. At 8th, Ridley's Consolation Cup. And then Battle of Podcast, so managed to beat Adrian in this one. I end up at 827. Without Cleary is a bit of a tough one. So that's that. Shout out to Kossi, who killed it. And we're 6 in the battle of the podcast, which I believe there's 22 of us, which is good. But it's a big shout out to Mark from the Fantasy Amateurs, who I think is like 100 and something overall, which is crazy. He's at 5491, a big gap on Ryan. And then Chris from Rogues there at 5404. Callum, Stewart, all just beating me. And then Jack's just under me there, so we're very close in updates. And we head down. We got Eddie there. Scoop's in there at 9th, so we're pretty close. He's in the top 2,000. And who else we got here? Unfortunate for Joshy and TK. Both very close to each other. 4 points of difference, but TK missing out on Cleary in this one is a tough one. Having Walker at 35, no Cleary is pretty tough there. Injury for Thompson. Got Stags to worry about. Hopgood to worry about. And how to get Cleary and also Heinzie Boy. That's the big ones here in this squad for the Islanders FC. Thankfully, a great score from Walshy, but 829 is a bit of a killer. And these guys down here in that sort of 15th and below, really dropping back a fair bit from the top guys at 5,200. I'm at 5,380, and then Mark at 5,941. So really need to start making moves over the next few weeks to get things right going forward. And big congratulations to everyone who's doing really well. Thankfully, I have been able to improve myself. So let's move on to the People Squad now. Round 6 wasn't so bad for the People Squad. A solid score of 941 there. Just outdid my team there by 2 points, and that does include an unfortunate score of Tamari Martin. So we decided to not play Warbrick and play Tamari Martin instead, and we're 6 points worse off, unfortunately. But good score with Reece Walsh down there. Having Haas obviously there. Grant was solid with 50, but not great. Cleary and Johnson there, the big ones, and a really lovely bench. Tanner Boyd scoring 40 in this one as well. So into an overall score of 5,252 and an overall rank of 4,547. Leaves us in a pretty good space there. We have 28 trades left, so I've saved 2 and have 19k in the bank. So if you're looking at potential guys that didn't play out in this one, obviously Cody Nikorima wasn't a great trade-in on first glance. He did have a sin bin, so didn't work out great that way. But guys we need to move on from, obviously Tamari Martin. So potentially a good wing fullback will be our ploy, with Martin being the sacrificial lamb in this one. So 378k, we have the extra 19. It doesn't leave us many options, so could be a downgrade, upgrade option across the park, and I'm not sure how we're going to play it, but I know people will be looking at Carrigan as an option to move on from at 709k. We have Trent Leoro as well at 523. We have Hopgood, so a few question marks here. I don't know if we can try and get Johnson, but we'll let the people decide on that one. You've got Warbrick, Cody Nikorima, Katoa. There's plenty of low guys in here, so how do we get up to Hines? I'm not sure if we can, so the trade-out's been an interesting one. We do need to fix the wing fullback position, and if you are part of the People Squad trading team, then that's something we definitely need to look at in this one. But overall, big improvements for the squad, and we did pretty well in our matchup for the Community Cup. So we won that one, which was great, and at 941 for us, 884 for Fantasy Lounge Community, who were leading the comp before this week, and we sneak into, I believe, 5 wins on the trot, which is good signs there. And I believe it's the 3 blokes, the only lads that are ahead of us, who have won 4 in a row as well, but have a better amount of points scored, and had some easier matchups at 4-8-60. So we're only winning 4 in a row, 5 out of 6. We only have a points differential of 36. So the week we lost, we got pumped, and then all the rest we've been really close games. So that's where we're at the moment. Top 4 is pretty well set at the moment, and then you got the groupies, men of the table in 3 wins under that, and then we got some negatives there. 5 L's on the trot for Talking League, unfortunately, and the rest of the guys need to step up their game if they want to catch up to us. But the only lads in a good position point scoring wise are 5-3-7-6, and also the Fantasy Lounge, who are in the top 500 as well. So doing great work there. I think they just dropped down to just under my scoring. I think I'm 5-3-80, so they're just around that top 1,000 at the moment. So very, very good for the People Squad as well. We're making strides, we're improving, and it's exactly what we wanted after a very tough couple of rounds. But a big thanks for checking in and showing interest in all the rankings and where you're at in comparison to other teams. It's really cool to see. I love looking at that at the end of the week, that's for sure. See you later, team.